Welcome to Interro Bites. These are 15-minute videos taken from my long-form live streams. If you want to see the full video or more, subscribe to Dacquisto and check out the playlists on my main page. Thanks for being here. Enjoy.
Just want to tell you things I saw with my own two eyes that were very suspicious to me that I didn't feel really heard previously. Or maybe they were heard and not seen as credible, I don't know. But just so you get the context for it, as far as the relationship stuff, that sucked. But that last 3-4 months, I moved on with my life. Actually, her moving away was the best thing that ever happened to me in terms of my personal life. It was a bad relationship. So this isn't any animosity towards her for being an unfaithful girlfriend. This is more deeply concerning stuff about someone getting killed. So I started dating Wendi in fall of 2013. We have mutual friends. A lot of our friends are in the Jewish community at the School of Social Works. We both talk to a lot of the same people. Interrogation. Your name came up a couple of times. And we just have a lot of mutual friends and stuff. So that's how we met. So we dated casually in the fall. She just got divorced, so had I actually. And at the time, I came in here before, I thought Markel was a dick. That's what I had been taught by Wendi. Over time, I realized I was kind of misled.
Okay, so you hear what he said here. He's trying to bring facts. He's trying to be objective. He's obviously given this a lot of thought, and he's saying, this is still on. This is bothering him. He said that he had come to believe that Markel was a DICK, but he realized that now maybe that was just because he didn't have anything but Wendi's perspective on matters.
But in the fall, it was interesting. Let me start. Danny had been describing Wendi as a pathological liar and a mentally ill narcissistic sociopath in a semi-joking manner, but
to you?
To other people. I just heard that through the grapevine. Because people said, be careful with Wendi. She's a little unbalanced. And I said, well, she seems upset about her divorce, but I don't know if she's unbalanced. I didn't take it seriously at the time. That sounds extreme, right? I thought these two people having a nasty divorce. He's calling names. I thought it was totally out of line. It's one of the reasons I was upset with him because you've seen the court documents. He got sick of her and really went after her legally in a really aggressive way, and not knowing the background. I thought it was inappropriate. I thought it was taking things too far to try to disbar your ex-wife. But one impression I'm left with is, I don't think I said this before. In December or January, I thought that was totally out of line. By May, I don't know if those are technically the correct words, but by May, I knew exactly what he was talking about. This is a very troubled person, Wendi Adelson, deeply troubled person.
Okay, so he's saying by May, and this was May of the previous year, 2014, he's saying that he realized that Wendi was a deeply troubled person. This is very unusual. There are some major sirens flying by. I don't know what's going on, but that was weird. Sorry, my windows are open. In any case, that was a little distracting. Sorry about that. But he's saying Wendi was a deeply troubled person. He started realizing this by May of 2014.
At first, she's gorgeous, she's smart, she's funny. I fell for this girl like a ton of bricks. Most men would. That was one reason I stuck around too long. But just an overall impression of her. And Danny says this in court documents, actually, a very manipulative person, a pathological liar. Wendi was an alcoholic while I was with her. She drank her dinner most nights.
Okay, so he's referring to Dan Markel's court documents in reference to the custody battle that was going on, because he had previously said that he was privy to all of those documents, and so he said he was reviewing those, and I'm sure he did quite a bit over the previous months. One of the things he added here was that Wendi was an alcoholic, that we didn't hear that in the previous police statements.
Extremely fragile, extremely depressed. Many, many nights sitting, hated Tallahassee so much that thought we're a bunch of country bumpkins, and we liked Tallahassee because she's from Miami. Didn't hide that fact. Thought it was bizarre that I moved here from Phoenix. And the two conversations that we had every single day for 9 months were, Danny is an evil monster. Tallahassee is the worst place in the world to live, and I can't believe I got stuck here because of Danny Markel. And she was obsessed with those two concepts. So I got really tired of hearing that, but I heard that every day for 9 months. Wendy's very manipulative in that she plays the victim very, very easily. Whenever we got into a confrontation, she'd pour me.
And I just want to say on this, you can tell by Jeffrey's body language that he's not enjoying to share this information about Wendi. He's got his head down. He's nodding, yes, that this is real. It's almost like, to me, it comes across as, I know I've got to say this. I don't want to say this, but it's true. And I'm going to go ahead and say it because it's important that they know this information. So he doesn't ever come across as someone who is trying to avenge or get revenge or a jilted boyfriend. He was concerned that he might have come across that way, but I don't think he ever did come across that way to the police. And he certainly doesn't during these police interviews. What do you think?
Very sensitive that I work with DV victims, women that have been raped as a social worker, all that kind of stuff. So I'm a sensitive Mr. Rogers kind of guy. So it's a very easy way to manipulate me, or Markel for that matter. But she just wasn't stable even in the fall, and able to cover it up here or there. When these people, the first 100 hours you spend with her, you think she's amazing. 101 on, you're like, shit, what I get myself into here? This person's kind of crazy.
You talk a little fast for me.
I'm sorry.
100 hours.
Yeah, first 100 hours you think she's amazing. Then after that, wait a second, there's some tremendous flaws here. So she puts up a very good public face. It's but as far as seeing stuff pertinent to the crime, I met her brother Charlie when I was down there in Miami for Immokalee. You remember?
Okay, now we're getting into Immokalee. I could not remember the name of that yesterday. And so now we're getting into that. So he's laying out the timeline a little bit more detail here because in the conversation, there was somebody who brought up, and I can't remember who it was, the possibility that Wendi had gone to Guatemala, but also then this Immokalee thing, and then this visit to Charlie Adelson, which is, I think, the only time Jeffrey LaCasse ever went to Charlie's home and visited with him there. Yeah, so Georgia says, go Georgia says, and welcome everyone. Thanks for being here. He's not backpedaling. He is thoughtful and measured and having hindsight and time to think too. Yeah, that's true. And I mean, he never came across as somebody, I mean, obviously he was a little concerned about whether they were looking at him. Anybody would be, but Georgia, you said stings a bit, and I'm sorry because I didn't catch that. What stings a bit? Just hearing this, or I'd love for you to share a little bit more. Oh, and hello, New York Patriot lady. I suspect the Adelsons must be into some dark things. Wendi and Charlie are the fruit of the Adelson tree. Yes, he seems very serious and credible, and not at all happy about this, right? He's not happy that he has to share this information. He's probably not happy that he is here, but he's not gloating in any way. Oh, thank you for sharing and liking the video. I love that. Thank you so much. When he said her about drinking, yes. So he was, yeah, that did sting a little bit. Stings a bit. Got it. Thank you for clarifying. Okay. Oh, and by the way, this March 6th interview is over an hour. So I'm just going to go until about 5 my time, 8 Eastern. So an hour total because I started at 4. So, and then I'll finish tomorrow. I can't believe it.
Recall that I said I found him to be a very strange person, very aggressive, verbally. He takes sex tourism trips to South America to have sex with underage prostitutes.
Wait a minute, back up a second.
Yeah, he takes sex tourism trips to South America to have sex with underage prostitutes.
Sex tourism.
Yeah.
Okay.
Isom is like, wait, what? Wait, you're talking too fast. And then he's like, wait, what did I just hear here? I love Isom. Okay. I suspect Wendi and Charlie were, probably, possibly, who knows? I hope we find out. She did indeed say at 10 but she also had some of her times mixed up by the time she got to the interrogation room.
South America. Just.
I'm kind of a sheltered guy.
Well, I was shocked not only that he would tell people he did that, but that he would tell his younger sister. That was strange to me. Very odd.
You know what's strange to me? That he says that's strange to me. That's great. That's creepy to me, but I like how he's trying to be measured. So he uses that was strange to me quite a bit, because he doesn't want to come off as completely over the top, which is reasonable. But can you imagine? I cannot imagine my brother talking to me about anything related to anything that he did sexually ever, let alone something that is, I mean, somebody might call it deviant or violent or anything of that bad. But I mean, just can you imagine how awkward this thing is? And they're in a hot tub too. I mean, the whole thing just take a pause and think about what he's saying here happened. It's just pretty bizarre. Yes, it's strange, but it's
odd. And there's this odd dynamic
odd.
between them. The whole family is real weird. He talked in the hot tub about punishing a girl by anally violating her in front of Wendi and I, like bragging about the fact that he'd hurt this girl because she had kind of been in an uncomfortable situation. So he came off like an offender to me. He came off like a kind of sociopathic. Like, this is strange. He just met me. He's telling me this. It was really, really weird.
Okay, so he's not just saying it's weird that he said it in front of Wendi, which is really creepy. My brother would. I remember once I was traveling, and I was traveling for the whole day, so I was kind of out of the loop. And so when I got to visit my family in Wisconsin, they were talking about some news, something that happened. It was, I think it was a politician. I don't even remember the details. And I said, well, what exactly did he do? Or something along those lines. My brother would not tell me. He's like, I'm not comfortable. You can read about it if you want, but it's really bad. And so, and he's saying that to him, Charlie came off as an offender. Okay. That's a big deal.
20 minutes after I met him.
I got you.
So I'm just like, this is not normal.
I like that. It was 20 minutes after I met him, and he drew that statement out. Like, dude, 20 minutes after you met somebody and they're talking about this kind of thing is kind of strange, like he said, to put it lightly. I mean, I probably would have jumped out of that hot tub and gotten an Uber, but okay.
Oh, this is strange. Guys will talk to their guy friends, although I've never said anything like that. I would never want to hurt a woman. It's,
right.
So it's, so it just struck me as very, very odd. Fast forward to May. We have that incident in the coffee shop that we discussed, that Officer Hale and me were, I assume that's one of the reasons you guys were interested in talking to me in the first place. But just to remind you, I just walked into All Saints Coffee, and there's my girlfriend with another guy. But that was a big deal in our relationship. And
right, because you see her there, and she's with this guy, and
yeah.
And you don't know who the guy is. Maybe I got that wrong. You knew that she was seeing a guy?
That's one of the things that concerned me, is that she would bring him up from time to time. And there was other signs. I mean, there's, I think, 5 to 10 other men. I was in denial about it in this time period. That's not a crime, obviously. But she's very impulsive, very erratic, doesn't think things through. She will do them and then worry about the consequences later. She was remarkably sloppy about cheating on me in terms of, well, that's what was interesting. Up until about early June, she was covering her tracks pretty well, actually. And, after that fight, we had a huge...
Okay, won't. I'm not sure what this is. I'm trying to answer you and listen at the same time. And yay, join from wherever you are, whatever time zone. I mean, it will be a relief. We just really want a more, the way I refer to it is a more complete justice, because there'll never be real justice because you can't have Dan back or the last 8 years, but something more complete than what we have now.
Not a huge fight. We had a mild fight about that. And
I am too.